出席中共中央宣传部新闻发布会。今天我们举行中国这10年系列主题新闻发布会的第5场，我们邀请到商务部副部长盛秋平先生、海关总署副署长王令俊先生、国家市场监管总局副局长蒲纯先生，请他们为大家介绍打通内外贸、构建双循环有关情况，并回答大家感兴趣的问题。下面我们首先请盛秋平先生做介绍。
女士们、先生们、记者朋友们，大家上午好。党的18大以来，商务部党组始终坚持以习近平新时代中国特色社会主义思想为指导，加强党对商务工作的全面领导，坚决贯彻党中央、国务院决策部署，内外贸发展取得历史性成就，实现历史性变革。这一年，扩内需、促消费取得新进展。消费是最终需求，我们坚定实施扩大内需战略，积极促进消费，扩大国内需求，发挥消费对经济循环的牵引带动作用。2021年，社会消费品零售总额达到了44.1万亿元，比2012年增长1.1倍，年均增长8.8%。消费多年成为经济增长的第一拉动力。结构不断优化，2021年人均服务性消费占居民消费比重为44.2%，比2013年提升4.5个百分点。每千人汽车保有量214辆，比2012年增长1.4倍。模式不断创新，2021年全国网上零售额13.1万元，比2012年增长9倍，农村电商异军突起。平台不断夯实，培育建设国际消费中心城市，持续打造中国国际消费博览会等平台，更好满足人民美好生活的需要。这10年，现代流通体系建设实现新突破。建设现代流通体系是新发展格局的一项战略性任务。一直以来，商务部花大力气推动现代流通体系建设，成效显著。
We have make up the shortcomings in our rural network. We supported 1,489 counties in building commercial county-level commercial networks and distribution centers, as many as 1,212. In 2021, our online retails in rural areas stood at 422 billion yuan. We also made progress in our urban network. We built 428 quarter-minute circles of living for the benefit of people, creating more than 500,000 jobs. In 2021, we renovated 23 pedestrian streets with an increase of revenue turnover by 10.2% and 16.7% respectively. And the proportion of total logistics to our GDP in 2021 stood at 14.6%, 3.4 percentage points lower than 2012. We also made further progress in building high-quality trade. In the past 10 years, we have made progress in stabilizing foreign trade, new development of trade with outcomes in a number of areas. In 2021, our foreign trade stood at $6.05 trillion, and including more than $800 billion in services trade, up 56% and 70% in over 2012. In 2021, emerging markets, central and western areas, private businesses, and general trade, their share in our total export increased by 6.2%, 5.9 percentage points, 20.1 percentage points, and 12.7 percentage points over 2012. Our deficit deficit in services trade reached a record low in the past decade. At the same time, our e-commerce, cross-border e-commerce increased by nearly 10 times over the past 5 years. And our market procurement trade export increased by 7 times. CRIE has become more and more successful. We have held 4 sessions of CRIE with total deals signed worth $272 billion. We have introduced a number of high-quality consumer goods and advanced technologies to promote sound circulation between domestic and international trade. Thank you, Vice Minister Shen. Now I'd like to give floor to Deputy Customs Commissioner Wang Linjun. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, good morning. Since the 18th CPC National Congress in 2012, under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, China has accelerated the building of a new system of open economy and made historical achievements in the development of foreign trade. According to customs statistics, China's foreign trade has increased both in volume and quality. In terms of volume, in the past decade, foreign trade in goods hit record highs one after another. China's foreign trade in goods increased from 24.4 trillion RMB yuan in 2012 to 39.1 trillion yuan in 2021, up by as many as 14.7 trillion RMB yuan. This figure was equivalent of China's foreign trade about 10 years ago. So China's foreign trade in goods exceeded 30 billion yuan in 2018 and reached nearly 40 billion yuan in 2021. China's global market share increased from 10.4% in 2012 to 13.5% last year, further consolidating China's role as the world's largest trader in goods. Since 2017, for 5 consecutive years, China has been the largest foreign trader in goods. In the past decade, we have seen China is not only a world factory, but also a world market. While providing plenty and affordable commodities to the world market, China also provides an increasingly broader market with more and more opportunities. By quality, we have seen further progress in the high-quality development of foreign trade. Our foreign traders have become more and more dynamic. Our exporters and importers, their number increased by 1.7 times. We have more and more trading partners. We have deepened our cooperation with Belt and Road countries and improved our geographical distribution in foreign trade at home. And so for Central and Western areas, their contribution to trade increased by 6.6 percentage points to more than 17%. In terms of trade mix, we have seen new growth drivers in our foreign trade. In the past 10 years, we have seen high-quality development. So we have seen a shift from made in China to intelligent manufacturing in China. So that is the past decade is a vivid example. In international competition, China has become more competitive in foreign trade, playing a more important role in driving economic growth, and we have now a more solid basis for long-term and stable development. In the past decade, the customs authorities throughout the country have been dedicated to economic and social development as a whole by improving its regulation and services. We kept improving the business environment of our ports. The certificates required for exports and imports decreased from 86 to 41. The time for customs clearance has been cut by more than half. So every minute and every hour saved means economic benefits for the business community.
二是大力支持对外
Second,
开放
we
平台
vigorously support the building of open platforms as well as new development of our comprehensive bonded areas. So far, we have as many as 156 such bonded areas. At the same time, we have also made new regulations for our free trade zones, and we worked hard in liberalization as well as in regulation. We have formulated a framework of regulatory framework for the free trade port in Hainan. So the comprehensive bonded zones, free trade zone pilot areas, as well as Hainan free trade port, have seen more foreign trade. We have also seen new regulatory model featuring bonded area cross-border e-commerce as well as their overseas warehousing, so that we can make it possible to have global buy and global sell. Fourth, we have deepened international cooperation between customs authorities. We follow up with smart customs, smart borders, and smart connectivity proposed by President Xi with our international counterparts. We established cooperative relations with our counterparts in 171 countries and regions. We deepened the rules making in such organizations as World Trade Organization and the World Customs Organization, as well as free FTAs such as the RCEP. We also participated in the coordinated governance of customs authorities around the world. We have supported the building of the Belt and Road Initiative. In the past decade, we supported the export of more than 100 high-quality agriculture and food products from Belt and Road countries to China. We have also promoted the mutual recognition of authorized economic operators with our foreign counterparts, so that they can enjoy the same convenient custom clearance procedures as in China as in other countries, in order to create a favorable external environment for China's development. In the first 5 months of this year, we have seen a good start in our customs operation. Due to various challenges, we have come under more pressure, however, but we will follow through with the decisions of the Chinese leadership with new regulations, regulatory measures, so that we will deliver a good score sheet for the opening of the 20th Party Congress. Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Commissioner Wang. Now I'd like to give floor to Vice Minister Pu.
Friends from the media, good morning. We know that connecting domestic and foreign trade and fostering dual circulations are necessary for tapping into the enormous market of China and pursuing wider opening up and a higher standard. Since the 18th Party's National Congress, the SDMR system has followed the guidance of Xi Jinping's thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era, implemented the decisions and arrangements by the CPC Central Committee and the State Council, and continuously deepened reform, optimized regulation, and upgrade services so as to provide strong support for the building of a new development paradigm. We have continued to improve the business environment with focus on energizing market entities as a main driver for improving market system and promoting steady economic growth in the long run. Bearing in mind that we must unwaveringly uphold and improve party leadership and make the party still stronger, we have deepened reform to enable easier entry, operation, and exit of market players. Market vitality and social creativity has been fully unlocked. The number of market entities reached a record 150 million, and self-employed individuals exceed 100 million. They are the most important economic foundation for spurring growth, maintaining stable employment, meeting basic living needs, and ensuring development and security, and the most valuable, most reliable, and most trustworthy, and most predictable strategic resources to make the economy grow steady, long into the future. We have carried out fair competition policies and taken upholding fair competition as a priority in leveraging market mechanism and cultivating a unified domestic market. We resolutely implemented decisions and plans on fair competition policy by the Central Committee and integrated regulation services online and offline and strengthened enforcement in this regard. We have done a better job in respecting the laws of the market, reinforcing law-based measures, and preventing and addressing unregulated competition, thus ensuring fair market competition. We have provided better protection for the rights and interests of consumers across the board to better meet people's aspirations. We have tightened supervision over quality and safety across the entire chain of key sectors with the highest standards, tightest regulation, harshest punishment, and greatest accountability. And we completed regulations on food and drug safety, and the food and drug safety has been improved continuously. We have ratcheted up supervision over the quality of COVID vaccines and products related to epidemic response and the price of essential consumption goods to contribute to the fight against the virus. We have made it easier for consumers to file complaints and report and focused on small things that have a close bearing on people's life, in a bid to foster a safe and secure market environment for expanding domestic demand. We have advanced the endeavor to build a manufacturer of quality to serve high-quality development of China. We have established and completed policies to boost the quality of products and services, standards, certification, accreditation, inspection, and supervision, etc., have been improved further. They have not only become an important component of the market system to enable efficient functioning of the market and fair transactions, but also supported scientific and technological innovation, industrial upgrading, green growth, and trade facilitation. Dear friends, China has an economy of 114 trillion yuan, 158 million market entities, and 1.4 billion consumers. All these constitute a super large market, the good supervision of which is a great responsibility, a glorious mission. On the new journey towards building a modern socialist country across the board, we will always adhere to the Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era, and apply the new development philosophy in full in the right way and in all fields of endeavor. We will bear in mind the strategic importance of building a new development paradigm, pursuing high-quality development, and promoting common prosperity. Continue to spur market vitality, spare no effort to uphold market order, and make a positive contribution to the prosperous, healthy, stable, and well-regulated development of the super big market of China. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Pu, for the opening remarks. Now I'll open the floor. Before you raise the question, please identify yourself and the organization. Thank you. Now the floor is open. The gentleman from the second row. Thank you, Madam. I'm from the 21st Herald. My question is that over the past 10 years, China's foreign trade grew rapidly. China has become the largest trader in goods, and the status has been consolidated. But affected by the pandemic and sluggish global economic recovery, China's foreign trade is facing serious challenge. So what are the considerations for the next step to pursue high quality of growth in foreign trade?
Thank
you for the question. Since the 18th Parties Congress, we have made historical achievements in foreign trade, and China's foreign trade has made great contributions to China's economic growth and global economic recovery. China has consolidated the role as a global trade power. In 2013, China became the largest trader in goods, and in 2020 or last year, in 2020, China is the largest trader in goods and services. Last year, China's total imports and exports of goods increased by 30% year-on-year and exceeding $5 trillion and $6 trillion consecutively, a new record high. Export took up 15.1% of international market share. And China's trade structure continues to optimize the share of import and export in the central and western regions, so a big increase. Private enterprises play a more prominent role in driving trade growth. Automobiles, ships, and other products with high technology content and high value added gradually become the new growth driver. And auto exports increased by 150% over 2012. And China's innovative trade development yielded notable results. New trade patterns and models grew fast. There are now 132 cross-border e-commerce pilot zones, which are home to more than 2,000 overseas warehouses. And the pilot programs for market procurement trade increased to 31. The market diversification strategy has achieved positive results. China has actively expanded trade with Asia, Latin America, Africa, and other emerging markets. Its trade partners continue to increase. And China has signed 19 FTAs with 26 countries and regions, and the trade volume with those partners accounted for 35%. China has made a prominent contribution to the development of the economy and the recovery of the global economy. Foreign trade is one of the troika driving economic growth, creating 180 million jobs. In 2021, net exports of goods and services drove GDP up by 1.7 percentage points and contributed 20.9% to GDP growth. China's imports contributed 13.4% to global import growth, which strongly boosted the global economic recovery. At present, foreign trade is facing a serious and complex situation at home and abroad. We will adhere to seeking progress while maintaining stability, implement policies to stabilize foreign trade, and make every effort to maintain the stability of the fundamentals of foreign trade and foreign investment, promote the quality development of foreign trade, and serve to build a new development paradigm. We will enhance the quality and efficiency of foreign trade. We will continue to promote import and export of high-quality products, develop trading high-quality, high-tech, high-value-added products, and we will promote the labor-intensive products to move the value chain, and support the export of brand-name products. And we will increase imports of energy and resource products and high-quality agricultural products. And we will foster national import, trade promotion, innovation demonstration zone. We will also support the innovative development of foreign trade, actively support the development of cross-border e-commerce, market procurement, foreign trade integrated services, overseas warehouses, and other new business models and patterns. We will vigorously develop digital trade, enhance the level of trade digitization, and accelerate the digital empowerment of the entire trade chain. We will establish green low-carbon trade standards and certification system, nurture green low-carbon trade entities, and accelerate the development of green trade. We will promote the integrated development of domestic and foreign trade. We will improve the integration of domestic and foreign trade regulation systems, promote the alignment of laws and regulations, regulatory systems, quality standards, etc., foster the integration of domestic and foreign trade platforms, support the development of quality goods produced on the same production line with the same standard, and promote foreign trade enterprises to expand the domestic market through multiple channels. We will make every effort to protect the stability of the industrial and supply chains of foreign trade, and we will strive to address the bottlenecks and disruptions of the global industry and supply chains, and continue to optimize business environment and enhance trade facilitation. We will further strengthen international cooperation. We will make The CIIE, Canton Fair, CIFTIS, and other major economic and trade exhibitions are a great success. We will firmly uphold the multilateral trading system and actively participate in the reform of the WTO. We will make good use of the RCEP agreement and actively promote the process of joining the CPTPP and DEPA. We will deeply engage in international cooperation in green and low-carbon digital economy, etc. Thank you.
好，先这边吧，第一排。
谢谢。南方都市报记者，我
Thank you.
注意
I'm
到我
from
们
the
近期也
Nandu.
是印发了关于加快建设全国
We've
统
noticed
一大
that
市场的意见。统一
Opinions
大市
on
场成了一
building
个
a
热词。
unified
那
domestic
请问
market has
建
been
设
issued,
全国统一大
which
市
makes
场
the
与
word
构
a
建国
catchy
际国
phrase.
内双循环
So my
新发展格
question
局的
is-
关系是什么？谢谢。
So this question will go to MOFCOM and State Administration for Market Regulation. Thank you. I will take up this question
这个问
first.
题非常重要。
This question is very important. I'd like to share with you my observation on this question based on commerce work. I believe that to build a nationally unified market serves as the basis for a smooth domestic circulation, as well as essential to promote dual circulation between domestic and international markets. On the one hand, we want to build a nationally unified market to overcome those bottlenecks, promote a smooth circulation so that we can connect supply and demand as well as between production and sales. At the same time, market is the most scarce resources globally. To build such a market will not only retain the attractiveness of China to businesses and resources around the world, but also promote connection of markets, connectivity of industries, promotion of innovation, alignment of rules, as well as domestic and international circulations. Commerce work is an integral part of the domestic circulation. It is an important hub connecting domestic and international circulations, playing an important role in building a new development paradigm. In recent years, we have been working together with colleagues in other departments to play out the advantages of commerce work in connecting domestic and international markets, in connecting rural and urban areas, and in conducting production and sales. We have made notable progress in connecting domestic and international trade, promoting online sales and on-site sales, as well as balanced and coordinated development. In the past 10 years, we have seen remarkable progress in connecting domestic and international trade. China has become the second largest consumer market in the world and the largest commodity trader in the world. Second, we have seen administrative regime for domestic and international trade. We have an economic administrative system aligned with international economic and trade rules, with improved laws and regulations, with less and less barriers and increasingly improved public services. At the same time, we have cultivated a number of large flagship enterprises engaged in both domestic and international trade, as well as an even larger number of SMEs. We have also seen faster integration of online sales and on-site sales. In recent years, for example, last year, our online sales totaled 13.1 trillion yuan. For 9 consecutive years, China has been the largest online retail market globally. The number of online purchasers or users enjoyed explosive growth. By June 2021, more than 812 million people purchasing goods on the internet. And our fast express delivery services also enjoyed rapid growth, with more than 108 billion parcels last year, an increase of nearly 20 times. At the same time, we are promoting urban development and balanced regional development. And we have 44,000 rural commodity markets throughout the country, including more than 4,000 wholesale markets and nearly 50,000 vegetable and other markets. We also have about 148,000 village-level service stations for e-commerce to help more than 6 million poor farmers to increase their income. We have also renovated pedestrian streets as well as convenience circles of life within 15 minutes and build chains of convenience stores. I wish to share with you a good example in promoting dual circulation and domestic and international trade. The case of Yiwu in Zhejiang province. Since 2012, the central government launched a pilot reform for international trade in Yiwu, as well as a circulation system reform for domestic trade. In the past 10 years, Yiwu's exports increased by 5.4 times, its import by more than 10 times, and its e-commerce trading volume increased by more than 6 times. So in the past, it sold globally. Now it purchased globally. So it has made concrete progress in building the world capital for small commodities. So in the next stage, we'll continue to work hard in promoting consumption, circulation, and domestic trade, and we will make our due contribution in this process. Thank you. Now I'd like to invite Vice Minister Pu for additional remarks. Thank you. To build a nationally unified market is a hallmark of a mature market economy. It is also essential for our efforts to build a new development paradigm. First, a nationally unified market serves as the basis for our efforts to stimulate market dynamism and strengthen growth drivers. With unified market rules, will stabilize market expectations and strengthen confidence, providing stable, open, transparent, secure, law-based, and predictable institutional environment for stable development of the economy. Second, such a market will be an important prerequisite to develop smooth economic circulation and play out our advantages as a super large market. It will be helpful for market players equal access to market resources and orderly flow of factors of production at a greater scale, so as to provide favorable conditions for us to unleash the potentials of a super large market. Third, such a market will be an important step to release consumer potentials and stimulate demand. It will also boost consumer confidence, increase their demand, and provide basic support for our strategy to stimulate domestic demand and make our economic development more resilient. Fourth, such a market will also serve as the basis for us to open up wider to the outside world at a higher level and formulate new edges in international competition and cooperation. It will make our market more attractive to internationally and will better connect domestic and international markets so as to formulate new edges in international competition and cooperation. In the next stage, the state administration for market regulation will focus in the following areas. First, we will formulate more rules and regulations, and we will explore ways to align ourselves with market requirements essential for a mature market economy so as to provide a stable, orderly, secure, and reliable market environment for market players. Second, we will build a law-based international business environment based on market. We will have reforms for the access and exit of market players, and we will introduce facilitation measures for them so as to play out the role of reform in improving the market environment to stabilize market expectations. Third, we will also introduce more equitable and competition policies and remove all otherwise rules and regulations. We will further standardize unfair market competition and interventions. Fourth, we will work hard to improve product quality and the protection of consumers' rights and interests. Focusing on priority areas, we will deepen the governance of market order and product quality in order to boost consumer confidence. Thank you. Next question. The female journalist on the front row, please. From China News Agency, as we know, so compared with the volume, actually we are paying more attention to the quality of foreign trade. So in terms of statistics, how can we see the quality development of foreign trade and what are the changes happening to our trade mix? Thank you for your question. In the past decade, we have seen high quality development of our foreign trade in goods, both by volume and by quality. And we can see in the following areas. First, the mix of our export has become more improved. Electrical and machinery products have become more important in our exports. In 2021, China's exports totaled more than 21 trillion yuan, including mobile phones, computers, integrated circuits, and other electrical and machinery products was more than 12 trillion yuan, accounting for nearly 60% of China's total exports. For labor-intensive products like garments, hats, footwear, and bags and toys was nearly 4 trillion yuan, accounting for about 18% of China's total exports. So you can see that in the past decade, there is a shift in the mix of our export from traditional labor-intensive products to electrical and machinery products, showing that the quality, grade, and added value of Chinese exports actually have been increasingly improved. Second, the volume of our imports have also been increased. Last year, China's imports totaled 17.37 trillion yuan, up 51.2% over 2012. China is the second largest importer in the world. So advanced equipment, key parts and components, and premium consumer goods are increasingly imported into the China market to meet the needs of production as well as people's daily life. A more open China market will enable the rest of the world to share more with the dividends of China's economic growth and the booming consumer sectors. And the third, we have more and more diverse trading partners. China has stable trade relations with the EU, United States, Japan, and South Korea. They are our traditional markets. These trading partners in 2021 accounted for 38.3% of China's total trade. At the same time, China has been expanding new markets, emerging markets in ASEAN, Africa, and Latin America. So our trade with the above-mentioned partners increased from 22.2% in 2012 to 26.2% last year. Among them, in 2020 and in 2021, ASEAN has been China's largest trading partner. In particular, China's trade with Belt and Road countries has been expanding. Their proportion to China's total trade increased from 25% to 29.7% in the past 8 years. At the same time, we have seen a growing number of businesses engaged in foreign trade with more and more dynamism. In 2021, 567 Chinese companies were engaged in foreign trade, including 476,000 private businesses and 82,000 foreign invested enterprises. In terms of foreign trade volume, private businesses are the main players in China's foreign trade in 2019, and in 2021, the value of their foreign trade accounted for 48.6%, nearly half of China's total foreign trade. In the past 10 years, we kept improving our port business environments in our ports, as well as increasing support to small, medium-sized, and micro businesses in order to boost their confidence in expanding markets overseas and the distribution of their global presence. Fifth, we have also seen new growth drivers in our foreign trade and new competitiveness. Open platforms have played a more important role in this process. In 2021, the comprehensive bonded zones, pilot free trade zones, and Hainan free trade port increased their foreign trade by 24.3%, 26.4%, and 57.7% respectively. In new patterns of foreign trade, cross-border e-commerce and market procurement have enjoyed rapid growth. In 2021, cross-border e-commerce reached 1.92 trillion yuan, up 18.6%. Market procurement export increased by 32.1%, showing a booming development in these two sectors. Thank you. Next question, please. The female journalist on the second row, please. From China Media Group. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, so for the Belt and Road Initiative, would you like to brief us about China's trade with the Belt and Road countries? It is reported by some foreign media outlets that due to COVID-19, some countries have concerns about the prospects of BI.
好，那我先来做个回答。
Thank you.
共建“一带一路”是习近平总书记深刻思考人类前途命运以及中国和世界发展大势，为促进全球共同繁荣、构建人类命运共同体提出的重大合作倡议。自2013年提出以来，共建“一带一路”从大协议 到公平化，影响力和感召力不断扩大，成为当今世界深受欢迎的国际公共产品和国际合作平台。商务部会同有关方面，坚持共商共建共享原则，持续深化“一带一路”经贸合作，取得了实打实、沉甸甸的成果。 一是深化贸易畅通，“一带一路”市场地位显著提高。2013年至2021年，我与沿线国家年度贸易额从1.04万亿美元扩大到1.8万亿美元，增长了73%。贸易新业态快速发展。
From $1.04 trillion in 2013 to $1.8 trillion in 2021, up by 73%. New models of trade have grown rapidly. The Silk Road e-commerce has become a bright spot, and the trade passages construction has advanced steadily. The China-Europe block trains have exceeded 50,000, reaching 23 European countries and over 180 cities in these European countries. And Land Sea new passages has achieved new gains. And we have signed 7 FTAs with 13 Belt and Road countries. Second, we have strengthened investment cooperation with these countries. Between 2013 and 2021, China's cumulative investment in the Belt and Road countries
我企业在沿线国家建设的境外经贸合作园区累计投资430.8
And the countries along the Belt and Road invested and started about 32,000 companies in China with a total investment of $71.2 billion. By the end of 2021, we have established the economic cooperation zones in the Belt and Road countries with a total investment of $43.08 billion, creating 346,000 jobs for the local communities. And third, we have pushed forward major projects with increased level of connectivity. In between 2013 and 2021, the cumulative value of the newly signed contracts in the countries along the Belt and Road reached $1.08 trillion with a completed turnover of $728.6 billion covering transportation, power, and many other sectors. And we have also pushed forward a series of projects related to people's well-being, such as agriculture, medical care, poverty reduction, etc. in these countries to bring substantial benefits to the local countries and people. Fourth, we have improved the institutional platforms with higher efficiency of our communication and cooperation. We have established more than 100 cooperation mechanisms covering trade, investment, trading services, e-commerce, and the platforms represented by major exhibitions and forums have flourished. We have successfully held 4 sessions of CIIE, China, ASEAN Expo, and China CEEC Expo, China Africa Expo, etc. Over the past 8 years, we have promoted Belt and Road cooperation and made strong and great contribution to global open cooperation and global economic recovery. Going forward, the Ministry of Commerce will follow through the spirit of General Secretary Xi Jinping's important speeches about the Belt and Road Initiative and continue to move forward the commercial cooperation under the Belt and Road Initiative, scale new heights in the high-quality development of the Belt and Road Initiative, and make new contributions to the building of a community with a shared future for the mankind. I want to add something on the basis of Mr. Shen's remarks. Since the Belt and Road Initiative was put forth, China's trade with countries along the Belt and Road has become increasingly close. China's trade with these countries now account for 29.7%, increased up from 25% in 2013. In the first 4 months of this year, China's import and export with the Belt and Road countries reached 3.97 trillion yuan, an increase of 15.4%, 7.5 percentage points higher than the overall growth rate. By specific countries in 2021, countries whose trade volume with China exceeded 1 trillion yuan include Vietnam, Malaysia, and so on. Countries whose trade volume with China exceeded 800 billion yuan include Thailand and Indonesia. And by the quality of the Belt and Road cooperation, we continue to deepen cooperation with BRI countries on trade security and customs clearance facilitation, mainly by promoting the AEO mutual recognition, China's international trade single window cooperation and exchange, certificate of origin networking, etc. The 32 of the 48 countries and regions that have signed AEO mutual recognition agreements with China are countries or regions along the Belt and Road routes. The China-Kazakhstan Customs and Railway Pass project has started trial operation at Alan-Shankou and Korgos railroad ports. And in the meantime, we are working to expand access to high-quality agricultural products and food stuff from the Belt and Road countries. In 2021, General Secretary Xi Jinping proposed the concept of smart customs, smart border, smart connectivity. The GACC acted promptly and have rolled out pilot projects on these 3 smart. And 22 of the 78 pilot projects involved cooperation with Foreign Customs Office. Many of those countries are along the Belt and Road routes. It aims to reduce the cost of customs clearance, improve the efficiency of customs clearance. International organizations and multilateral frameworks such as the World Customs Organizations, APEC, and ASEAN have incorporated this concept of 3 smart into their strategic documents or agenda. Okay, next question. Thank you, Madam.
我的问题是，党中央多次强调，深入推进实施公平竞争政策，使各类资本机会平等、公平进入、有序竞争。请问，我国在维护公平竞争方面取得了哪些主要成效？下一步还将采取哪些举措？
is very important, as stressed by the Central Committee, and what China has done to uphold fair competition.
很好的问题啊！党的18大以来啊。 以习近平同志为核心的党中央高度重视保护和促进公平竞争，对强化公平竞争政策基础地位作出一系列重大决策部署。市场监管总局深入实施公平竞争政策，持续优化公平竞争治理。
Unfair competition, we have acted on these arrangements and implemented fair competition policies. We have achieved the following results. First, the mechanism of fair competition system is becoming more and more mature. The anti-monopoly law and the unfair competition law have been revised expeditiously. 7 supporting regulations on anti-monopoly and anti-unfair competition were formulated.
重点行业和领域指南7部
7 guidelines for key industries and fields such as platform economy and operator compliance were issued.
2018年
were published the rules for the implementation of fair competition review system.
将反垄断相关指南整合到市场监管总局
during the
2021年挂牌成立
institutional reshuffling, anti-monopoly related functions were integrated into the SAMR.
体制的统一
And we established the National Anti-Monopoly Bureau in November 2021, setting up a unified anti-monopoly enforcement system. At the end of 2021, the opinions on the implementation of fair competition policy was issued, which formed the top-level design policy framework of fair competition in China for the first time. We have continued to improve the market competition environment. Attaching equal importance to regulation and development, we have used various laws and regulations on anti-monopoly, anti-unfair competition, price regulation, advertising, etc., and used rules, guidance, administrative guidance, follow-up enforcement, conditional approval, and other tools in major enforcement activities. We have gradually addressed the duopoly of platforms and other issues of unfair competition. In the past 10 years, we have investigated and handled 195 cases of monopoly agreements and 82 cases of abuse of dominant market position, concluded 3,822 cases of concentration operators, and the market environment has been continuously optimized. The construction of the nationally unified market has been further advanced. We acted on the deployment of the State Council to establish a fair competition review system which now fully covers the national, provincial, municipal, and county levels of government. Over the past 10 years, a total of 3.402 million policy documents have been sorted out, 1.278 million new policy documents have been reviewed, and 53,000 have been corrected and repealed. We continuously crack down on the abuse of administrative power to exclude and restrict competition enforcement, and investigated and dealt with 363 cases of obstructing the free flow of goods, restricting foreign enterprises from participating. At the same time, we have promoted the opening up and cooperation. In this regard, we signed. We have participated in the international cooperation and contributed China's wisdom in global competition governance. In the new development stage, we will implement the new development concept and build a new development paradigm. And we will pay more attention to adhere to the concept and the rule of law, integrated development and security, and we will strengthen enforcement in key sectors, regulate and guide healthy development of capital, and enhance the performance of competition supervision. And we will also urge enterprises to enhance the awareness of compliance and the capacity of compliance to foster a fair competition environment. Thank you. The next question, please.
谢谢主持人。海报新闻记者提问：今天是520世界计量日，我们知道计量标准、认证认可、检验检测等质量基础设施是促进国际贸易便利化的重要支撑。请问市场监管部门在加强标准和规则对接、促进对外贸易一体化方面的做哪些工作，取得的成就如何？未来在推进对外贸易一体化发展方面有哪些新的思路和
and what measures will be realized in the future for unified development of domestic and international trade? Today is a special day, the World Metrology Day. We know that measurements, standards, certification, quality inspection, and quarantine are important and a major infrastructure for a domestic market system, as well as an integral part of international economic and trade rules. So market regulation departments have been working actively to promote the building of such infrastructure, the alignment of market rules and standards at home and internationally, and promote their integrated development of domestic and international trade. So in the BRI, the framework of the RCEP, we have promoted mutual recognition and alignment of standards and certifications for greater foreign trade. At the same time, we have stepped up research and response to technical trade measures. For those foreign technical measures that have affected Chinese exporters, we have reviewed such measures in order to protect the legitimate rights and interests of Chinese exporters. Second, we have promoted alignment of domestic and international certification and standards. In terms of standardization, the alignment of 9 key areas has increased from 81% in 2016 to more than 96% now, including household appliances and consumer electronic goods. So the transformation of international standards on average for the Chinese industry has reached 75%. So for major industries like equipment manufacturing, major commodities, and a new generation of information technology, their transformation rate for standards has reached more than 90%. In terms of certification and accreditation, China has signed 127 such documents with more than 30 economies. We have joined 21 international organizations on certification and accreditation, boosting China's China's trade with our partners. We have also simplified the CCC certification procedures as well, so long as it will only take 7 days for you to get the CCC certificate if you have all the materials ready. And third, we have introduced the same standards for domestic and for products in domestic trade and international trade. We have guided the business community to produce according to the same standards and requirements. So we hope that the same businesses can produce the same quality products to meet the needs of domestic and international markets. Now, such coverage has expanded to general consumer goods, industrial goods, and we now have nearly 10,000 kinds of such products meeting both domestic and international standards, involving more than 3,000 businesses. In the next stage, we will first further align domestic and international standards and rules, focusing on those hotspot areas and products. We will further improve the alignment of domestic and international standards. So standards will have an important role to play in boosting trade and facilitating trade. Second, we will also promote international mutual recognition of standards. So we will work more closely with our colleagues internationally so that the business community will get more benefits from international cooperation on mutual recognition and accreditation. Focusing on our target markets, we will promote compulsory product certification so that we can export more. And third, we will also introduce the same standards, quality and requirements so that the businesses will reach the 3 same requirements through self-declaration or third-party certification. Thank you. Next question. The journalist on the third row, please. China Media Group. Consumption shows people's aspiration for a better life directly. In the past decade, people's life has been getting better and better. With improved consumption, China has become the 2nd largest consumer market in the world. So how do you view the progress of China's consumer market in the past decade? And what plan do you have to further boost trade? Mofcom, please. Thank you for your question. Since the 18th CPC National Congress in 2012, under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, commerce departments throughout the country have been working hard to implement the strategy of expanding domestic demand, boosting consumption. As a result, we have seen further growth in our consumption, further upgrade in our consumption trade. First, we have seen the volume of our consumption has increased by a large margin. China, as you have mentioned, become the 2nd largest consumer market in the world. We have clearly demonstrated the advantages as a super large market. So consumption has increased from 27.5 trillion yuan in 2012 to more than 56 trillion yuan in 2020. So end consumption and expenditure share in GDP has increased from 51.1% to 54.7%. So a faster growing consumer market has not only improved the life of the Chinese people, but also provide more opportunities for other countries. In 2021, China's consumer imports reached 1.7 trillion yuan, an increase doubled over the 2012, accounting for nearly 10% of China's total imports, as mentioned by Deputy Customs Commissioner. And for example, the consumer imports of Hainan Free Trade Port reached nearly 100 billion yuan last year. Second, we have seen a continuous upgrade of our consumption mix. We have paying more attention to the quality of our consumption. So we are shifting to both commodity and service consumption with more and more diverse patterns. The angle coefficient, that is the spending of food to total consumption, reached 29.8%, a decrease of 3.2 percentage points over 2012. And our new car sales ranks first in the world for 13 consecutive years in the world. And the private car ownership increased by 1.4 times compared with 2012. And third, new business patterns like cross-border e-commerce, online sales, mobile payments kept emerging. We have seen the digitalization and the smart application of traditional commercial businesses. We have seen that online and on-site hybrid consumption has become an important engine for economic growth. In 2021, our online sales reached 10.8 trillion yuan, accounting for 24.5% of our total retails, the largest in the world. I see a report by UNCTAD saying that for the 7 major online retail markets in the world, China's online rails accounting for the 50% of the top 8 retail markets globally. And in 2021, new energy vehicles sales reached 3.52 million. Yeah, so for every 8 new vehicles, one of them was new energy vehicles, and its total ownership reached 7.84 million, accounting for half of the global total. And the shipment of 5G mobile phones reached 266 million, accounting for 76% of total shipped mobile phones. We have also seen balanced developments in urban and rural areas. For urban areas, its retail sales reached 38 trillion yuan in 2021, up 8.7%. For rural areas, it increased to 5.9 trillion yuan, up 9.8% annually. In 2021, the proportion of rural sales to total retails reached 13.4%, up 1 percentage point. In 2021, Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Tianjin, and Chongqing have become major 5 consumer cities, accounting for 13.8% of China's total retail sales. Fifth, we have seen further progress, more contribution made by contribution to our economy, serving as a baluster and the anchor of our economy. Last year, consumption's contribution to GDP growth reached 65.4%, up 10 percentage points over 2012. In the next stage, MOFCOM will continue to follow through with the decisions of the Chinese leadership. We will launch a series of campaigns to boost the consumption, building platforms to boost the trade and transform traditional consumption and encourage new types of consumption in order to realize continued recovery and upgrade of consumption, to make our contribution to the building of a new development paradigm and the people's aspiration for a better life. Next question, please. The journalist on the front row, please. Thank you. From Shenzhen Satellite TV, we noticed recently that customs authorities introduced 10 measures to mitigate the shock of pandemic to foreign trade. So the business community is paying close attention to the business environment at the customs ports. So would you like to give us some answers?
Thank you for your question. Business environment is very important. As the saying goes, plant a parasol tree and you will have the phoenix coming. Over the past 10 years, we have made great efforts to promote customs facilitation, and the business environment in the ports have been continually continuously improved.
一是推进简政放权，
We have done the
下大
following.
气力取消
First, we
行政许
promoted
可
the
事项。
decentralization of
截止目前，仅保
governance,
留
streamlined
10项行政
governance,
许
and
可事
delegated
项。
power to lower levels.
我们完善海关行政审批网
We
上办
removed
理
a
平台，
lot of
企业办理手
administrative
续
licensing
更加便捷。我们大力推进
procedures,
双随机一公开监管，
and we
覆盖了
also
海关
promoted
28
supervision
项
with
行政
2
执法检
random
查事项。
choices of
二是开展跨境贸易
the
便利化专项
enterprises
行动，
subject to supervision
压
and the
时间
supervisors, and
减
publishing
单证
the results of the
降成本
supervision in a timely
打造
manner.
市场化、
Second, we
法治
also
化、国际
conducted
化的
special
口岸营商
actions
环境。
to facilitate trade,
压时间
to enhance
就
trade
是大大的
facilitation.
缩短货物
Across
通
the
关的
board.
时间。
We reduced the
现在呢，
cost and time
这个进口
for doing trade
是
and
整体
build
通
a
关时间
business
呢是
environment
32.97小时，
that
压
is
缩
up
了
to international standards
60%
based
以
on
上。出口了
market-based, law-based
1.23小时，
business
压缩
environment
了
up to the international standards.
80%以上
We。have
简单证
reduced the
就
time
是精
needed
简
for
进
customs
出口环
clearance
节需要
by
严
over
格的
80%,
监管证书，
and we also streamlined
海关及其协调有
the
关业务
license
主管部门精简了证件，
necessary for
并
import
基
and
本实
export,
现网上核验。
and
降成
the
本
customs
就是降低
agencies
进
have
出口
also
环节
coordinated with
合规
relevant
成本，实现了
departments
全国
to
口岸收
make
费
the licenses and certificates simpler.
标准全部公开，
And we also publish all
三
the
是全面
lists
推广
and
国际贸易
fees and
单一
standards
窗口，
of all the
基
ports
本满
in
足企业
China.
一站式业务办理需求。目前，单一
Third, we
窗口
also
由
provide
口
single
岸
window
执法
services for
向物
the
流、
international
贸易、
traders
服务等领域延伸。
to meet their needs.
由于口岸
for
通
doing
关信息化、
businesses.
智能化水平的提升，企业可随时查询、跟
And
踪
now
通关
the
物流的
information about the
实时
customs
状态。
clearance and logistics are
营商
available
环境的改善永
anytime
无止境。
the
我们将一
enterprises
如
can
既往
check
采取切实可
this
行的措施，
information.
锲而不舍地推进
anytime.
口岸营商环境的
And we will
不断
continue to
完善。
make more
谢谢。
efforts to
好，请继续提问。
improve the business
还有
environment
2位记
in
者，
these
最后2个问题吧。
ports.
先后面这位女记者，CNBC。
Next question from the
谢谢主
CNBC.
持人，是 CNBC 记者提问。
Thank
请问
you.
关于跨境电商有什么
My
特
question
别
is
的机
about
会还有
cross-border
展望？谢谢。
e-commerce. What are the
跨境电
opportunities
商
and expectations for
好，谢谢您的
e-commerce?
提问。近年来啊，
Thank you for your
随着
question.
互联网技术的进步和数字经济的发展，国际贸
Thank
易
you.
发生了重
Recently,
大的
along
变
with
革，
the advances
跨境电
in
商
international
从无到有
technologies,
快速发展。跨境电商突破了
cross-border
时空限
e-commerce
制，
has
减少了贸
grown
易的中
rapidly
间
from
环节，
scratch
解决了
thanks to the
供需
reduction in
双
the
方
cost and
信息不对称的
intermediate
问题，
links
为更多国
trade.
家、更
And
多
it
中小企
also
业提
addresses
供
the
新的发
problems
展
of
机遇，
information
体
asymmetry.
现了
It
贸易
provides
的
more
包容性、
opportunities for
普惠性发
smaller
展。
enterprises.
新冠肺
It
炎
also
疫情
shows the inclusive
导致了
development
消
of
费行为
trade.
的改变，
And
各
the
国消费者网购需
COVID-19
求激
pandemic
增，
has also led
跨
to
境电
changes
商
in
发展势头
consumption
强劲。
behaviors. There is a strong
在这样一个
demand
背景下，
for online
我国跨境
shopping.
电商
That's
持
the
续
strong
快速增
momentum
长。
of cross-border
从15
e-commerce.
年至今，国
Against
务院
this
先后6
backdrop,
批
China's
批准设
cross-border
立了
e-commerce continues to
132
grow
个跨境
rapidly.
电商中
Since
心区，以
2015, the State
覆盖
Council has
全
approved
国30
the
个省区市。
establishment of 132 comprehensive
我
pilot
国
zones
创
for
新出台
cross-border
跨境
e-commerce
电
in
商
6
零售进口
batches,
监管
covering
政
30
策，并
provinces.
局部将试点范围
In
扩大到
2018, China
全国
introduced the
31
new
个
regulatory
省区市。
policies for cross-border e-commerce
商务
retail imports
会同各
and
部门
expanded
和
the
各地
scope
方
of pilot
向
programs to
全国复制
31
推广了
provinces
近
across the
70
country.
项成熟经验
MOFCOM
和
has
创新的做
replicated
法。
and promoted nearly
我们还积极参与
70
国际合作，
mature
在
practices
世贸组织、
nationwide.
G20、
We actively
APEC
participate
国
in
际海关组织
international
等多边
cooperation
场合
in the
提出中
WTO,
国方案，
G20, APEC,
并
and
与
international
23个
customs
国家签
organizations
署电
and
子
other
商务
multilateral
合作备忘
occasions
录。
to put
目
forward the
前很多
Chinese
国家和地区
program
都
and
有
signed
自
with
己的
23
本土
countries to
跨境
cooperate
电
in
商平台。
e-commerce memorandum.
中国本土
Now
企
we
业
know that
依
many
托制
countries
造
and
业
regions have
和
their
市
own
场
local
优势，
cross-border e-commerce
迅速发展，
platforms. Relying on the advantages of manufacturing and market, local Chinese enterprises have developed rapidly, accumulated a wealth of practical experience, and created a number of excellent cross-border e-commerce platforms. According to customs statistics, China's cross-border e-commerce import and export has increased nearly 10 times in 5 years, and in 2021, it increased by nearly 20%. The cross-border e-commerce significantly reduced the threshold of international trade, so that a large number of small and micro businesses that had no capability or resources to do foreign trade now become new traders. At present, more than 30,000 enterprises have filed on the online comprehensive service platform in the cross-border e-commerce pilot zones. At the same time, cross-border e-commerce enterprises have been able to better meet the personalized and customized needs of overseas consumers by creating a flexible supply chain with clustered elements and rapid response. China's cross-border e-commerce can not only sell globally but also buy globally, which enables the supply of domestic market and better meets people's needs for a better life. In recent years, many ambassadors of countries in China promote their country's goods through live streaming. Afghan pine nuts, pink salt from Pakistan, Bulgarian rosewater, and other special commodities have become trendy online, widely welcomed by consumers. These are new opportunities for those countries and enterprises in China. We hope that enterprises from all countries can strengthen exchanges and mutual understanding and contribute to the healthy development of the cross-border e-commerce industry and the recovery of the global economy in the post-pandemic era. And we will continue to provide guidance and services for cross-border e-commerce. Thank you for the introduction of Mr. Sheng. Cross-border e-commerce is an important new foreign trade model. Customs agencies have adopted an inclusive, prudential, coordinated and innovative method to ensure the healthy state development of cross-border e-commerce. We have taken targeted measures to establish special zones for these online products sold online, and we also suit the features of cross-border e-commerce in our supervision. And for the difficulties in recalling or sending the products back, which are purchased online, we also taken measures to make it easier for consumers to send back the sub-quality products. And we also issued the Beijing Declaration, explored cross-border e-commerce standard framework to ensure the steady and sound development of cross-border e-commerce in the international market. Thank you. Next question, please. My question is about the market entities. In China, the development of the market economy cannot be possible without the ever-improving business environment. So what will the SAMR do to improve the business environment?
可以说啊，您这个问题啊，是今天这场发布会最重要的一个问题啊，我希望给你一个满意的答复。对于市场主体而言，
Thank you for your question. For market players, a good business environment, just like sunshine, water, and air, which are very important to us. So the state administration for market regulation is working hard to improve the business environment in China in order to stimulate the vitality of all kinds of market vitality. First, we have built more institutions for market access. For example, we have introduced the registration regulations on market entities so as to provide a unified system for market players to register, providing equal access to them, as well as their free migration and convenient exit. Second, we have deepened the system for market access and exit. We now have separated certificates from registration. So from access so by market players to their products. So from high efficient market access to convenient exit. So from smooth registration to reform of relevant items. So all these above things, we have reduced the institutional transaction cost for businesses in investment and starting up their business. Second, we have introduced kind of one-stop services for the businesses in order to cut the interference into the normal operation of businesses as much as possible. We also introduced an annual notice system for the businesses to replace the annual inspection system, and we have formulated a blacklist for those businesses, violating businesses. We also have a system by category to manage corporate credit risks. Fourth, we have also support more measures to bail out businesses, for example, in collection of fees, as well as introduction of favorable policies. In response to the price hikes of commodities, we have been working hard to ensure stable performance and the prices of key industries. We also help businesses to increase their efficiencies. The State Council has established an interagency meeting mechanism to support individual businesses or self-employed businesses. Fifth, IPR protection. We have stepped up IPR protection by establishing a punitive compensation system and substantially increased the cost of infringement to protect the protection of business information with some nationwide pilot programs for their legitimate rights and interests.
Now the time for companies to start their businesses is reduced to within 4 work days. And now it takes just 60 days to cancel or repeal the registration. Market entities number increased from 55 million in 2012 to $158 million. They have become a very strong macro forces to sustain economic growth. Going forward, the SMAR will continue to advance the reform to make it easier for enterprises to access and exit the market and better leverage fundamental systems to serve the economic growth, and we will also provide relief policies to enterprises to help them overcome difficulties and help market entities to achieve sustained and sound growth. Thank you. Thank you to the 3 ministers, and thank you, friends from the media. Today's conference is coming to an end. Thank you.